dear students! In this video, I'm going to talk about the next part of the vocabulary for IELTS Band 7 and 9. By learning these new words, you can easily improve your reading skills as well as writing skills. So, if you learn these words, you can easily understand reading passages. Also, you can use these words in the writing module. Especially these words are very helpful for writing task 2. So, let's get started and look at 50 words together. Tenement. Tenement means a large building divided into several self-contained flats or apartments. For example, the great photographer posed them in front of a row of tenement. Its synonyms are apartment and flat. Uniformly. Uniformly means without variation or diversity. Pressure must be uniformly distributed over the whole surface. Its synonyms are consistently, evenly, and equally. Assign. Assign means to give a task or something else to someone. For example, when teachers assign homework, students usually feel an obligation to do it. Its synonyms are allocate, allot, and apportion. Bewildering. Bewildering means thoroughly confusing, disorientating, or puzzling. For example, as the deadline approached, she experienced a bewildering array of emotions. Its synonyms are baffling, perplexing, and confusing. Quantify. Quantify means to determine the quantity of something. For example, it is difficult to quantify an exact figure as firms are reluctant to declare their losses. Its synonym is measure. Constituent. Constituent means a forming part of a whole. For example, caffeine is the active constituent of drinks such as tea and coffee. Its synonyms are component, element, and ingredient. Ferocious. Ferocious means violently, unfriendly, or aggressively. For example, the president came in for some ferocious criticism. Its synonyms are fierce, savage, and cruel. Humidity. Humidity means the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. Its synonyms are dampness and moisture. For example, the museum is equipped with sophisticated humidity controls. Intact. Intact means not broken, damaged, or untouched. For example, the collection should be kept completely intact. Its synonyms are undamaged, unimpaired, and unblemished. Ingest. Ingest means to take food or liquid into the body. For example, as you ingest protein, your body will break it down into the different amino acids contained in that protein. Its synonyms are consume and eat. Decompose. Decompose means to rot, usually as a result of the activity of fungi and bacteria. For example, most animals decompose very quickly after death. Its synonyms are decay, breakdown, and disintegrate. Outlook. Outlook means a view from a particular place. For example, having children gave her a broader outlook on life. Its synonyms are viewpoint, perspective, and prospect. Inviting. Inviting means attractive or tempting. For example, his amazing attention to detail is both inviting and seductive. Its synonyms are alluring, captivating, and enticing. Magnificent. Magnificent means splendidly impressive in size, extent, or appearance, and its synonyms are great, grand, and impressive. For example, the 12-mile coastline has magnificent scenery. Deficient. Deficient means not good enough, not having all that is needed. For example, your diet is deficient in vitamins. Its synonyms are lacking, wanting, and insufficient. Mitigate. Mitigate means to make pain, anger, or something else less severe. For example, measures need to be taken to mitigate the environmental effects of burning more coal. Its synonyms are moderate, relieve, and lessen. Discrepancy. Discrepancy means a failure of sets of information or something else to correspond to something. For example, there is some discrepancy between the two accounts. Its synonyms are disparity, disagreement, and inconsistency. Abuse. Abuse means the wrong use of one's power or the excessive use of harmful substances. For example, drug abuse poses a major threat to the fabric of our society. Its synonyms are perversion, misuse, and ill use. Methodically. Methodically means in a systematic way. For example, technicians methodically summarize the information from the various operating units to transmit data. Its synonyms are neatly, tidily, and regularly. Ironic. Ironic means containing, characterized by, or expressing irony. For example, modern television sitcoms are often ironic and self-referential. Its synonyms are sarcastic, satirical, and sardonic. Cease. Cease means to bring or to come to an end. For example, once people retire, they automatically cease to be union members. Its synonyms are end, halt, and stop. Concise. Concise means brief but comprehensive. For example, the discussions are clear and concise. Its synonyms are compact, succinct, and abridged. Affliction. Affliction means distress or suffering. For example, hay fever is an affliction which arrives at an early age. Its synonyms are hardship, pain, and disease. Eradicate. Eradicate means to get rid of something completely. For example, these insects are very difficult to eradicate. Its synonyms are eliminate, obliterate, and remove. Attain. Attain means to complete successfully. For example, managers and employees will be asked to attain levels of performance previously considered impossible. Its synonyms are accomplish, achieve, and reach. Attribute. Attribute means a trait or characteristic of something. For example, patience is an essential attribute for a teacher. Its synonyms are trait, quality, and future. Henceforth. Henceforth means from now on. For example, our fox, they say, should henceforth be directed to the secondary years. Its synonyms are hereafter and henceforward. Immutable. Immutable means unable to be changed. For example, the structure, the disciplinary rules were immutable. Its synonyms are changeless, invariable, and constant. Undergo. Undergo means to experience something especially unpleasant or difficult. For example, all candidates have to undergo a personality test. Its synonyms are suffer, bear, and endure. Revere. Revere means to feel or show great respect or reverence for someone or something. For example, it is rare to find a singer who reveres his fans almost as much as they worship him. Its synonyms are respect, admire, and worship. Rotate. Rotate means to turn or make something turn about an axis like a wheel. For example, as water availability is reduced, it becomes more economical to rotate corn with crops using less water. Its synonyms are revolve, spin, and whirl. Myriad. Myriad means an exceedingly great number. For example, they face a myriad of problems bringing up children. Its synonyms are countless and limitless. Preoccupation. Preoccupation means the state or condition of being preoccupied. For example, his current preoccupation is the appointment of the new manager. Its synonyms are obsession and absorption. Exuberant. Exuberant means overflowing with life and cheerful excitement. For example, the exuberant acceptance of your ideas indicated that you have become an expert in all aspects of the demanding business. Its synonyms are joyful, lively, and vigorous. Formidable. Formidable means causing fear, doubt, or very impressive. For example, competition from established businesses can be formidable. Its synonyms are appalling, awesome, and overwhelming. Prior. Prior means existing or arranged before something else or before the present situation. For example, all development requires the prior approval of the planning authority. Its synonyms are earlier, former, and previous. Output. Output means the quantity or amount of something produced. For example, the average output of the factory is 20 cars a day. Its synonyms are production and yield. Colossal. Colossal means extraordinary great in size, extent, or degree. For example, they were asking a colossal amount of money for the house. Its synonyms are vast, gigantic, and enormous. Defunct. Defunct means no longer living, existing, active, usable, or in use. For example, the long-playing record was made defunct by the arrival of the CD. Its synonyms are extinct, outmoded, and expired. Dictate. Dictate means to tell someone what to do. For example, the officers were more or less able to dictate terms to successive governments. Its synonyms are command, order, and demand. Vigilance. Vigilance means the state of being watchful or observant. For example, you should exercise extra vigilance about locking your car properly. Its synonyms are alertness, watchfulness, and caution. Exorbitant. Exorbitant means going beyond a normal or acceptable limit in degree or amount. For example, exorbitant housing prices have created an acute shortage of affordable housing for the poor. Its synonyms are excessive, outrageous, and disproportionate. Blunder. Blunder means a foolish or thoughtless and usually serious mistake. For example, I made a bit of a blunder by getting his name wrong. Its synonyms are error, mistake, or howler. Hue. Hue means a color or type of color. For example, the same hue will look different in different light. Its synonyms are tint, shade, and tone. Summit. Summit means the highest point of a mountain or hill. For example, they climbed up the mountain and reached the summit. Its synonyms are pinnacle, zenith, and peak. Oscillation. Oscillation means a movement of swinging or making something swing backward and forward. For example, economists predict continuing oscillation of the Japanese yen. Its synonyms are fluctuation, vibration, and swing. Consecutive. Consecutive means following one after the other or in sequence. For example, now the company is offering customers the option of purchasing the revolvers with consecutive serial numbers. Its synonyms are successive, succeeding, and sequential. Intimacy. Intimacy means a state of having a close personal relationship with someone. For example, his intimacy with Japan makes him the likely choice as ambassador to that country. Its synonyms are familiarity, closeness, and nearness. Archaic. Archaic means from or relating to ancient times. For example, many smaller radio stations broadcast on archaic equipment. Its synonyms are antiquated, outmoded, and out of date. Impede. Impede means to prevent or delay the start or progress of an activity or something else. For example, they were designed to create disorder and to impede the smooth transfer of power. Its synonyms are obstruct, hamper, and hinder. Thank you for watching. It's all for today. So, it's the fourth part of the vocabulary. For the next part of the vocabulary, keep following me. Thank you very much. See you.